those
Do you
were
have
the
any
days.
questions that you can ask that, since you've obviously known them, you do, longer than the rest of us here?
Well, see, my problem is that I saw them off and on. They got married. I probably didn't see them half a dozen times after they got married. I went to Arizona. And I went to Indiana once in the next 4 years, and I joined the Navy. And so I really didn't see them and get and to know them again until they lived in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I went back to the East Coast as a young sailor. And on the weekends, I'd come down from Bainbridge and visit.
That when you had your motorcycle?
No, that was Ike.
Motorcycle.
That was Ike.
That was Uncle Ike, that's right.
I remember Uncle Ike and the motorcycle. I was about 10 years old, and I used to enjoy walking.
They thought
Right
that
on
was
that.
great for Uncle Ike to come with his motorcycle.
My mother would never let me have a motorcycle.
You had the motor scooter, was that you?
I had a motor scooter
Yeah.
after
A disaster, right?
that was after I left home.
Right. But you had
She
I
never,
remember a little spill
Oh, yeah,
or two.
sure.
she never let any of you play football either, would she?
No,
I was
Oh,
the only one
well,
in my family that played football.
on the playground, yeah, we played.
And
I went
still
home and
have
mentioned that, and I had football at school. I don't care, you're not playing.
Did you play baseball?
Yeah. Yeah, I was too light for football and too short for basketball, so I played baseball. One time we had an outfielder that was all upshot. See, my twin brother played left field and I played center field. And my younger brother played right field.
well, they had 7 boys, that's pretty much the team.
Well,
They weren't all old enough to play at one time, was it, Don?
No. They wouldn't let me play.
You probably weren't big enough.
Not even this bat boy, huh?
He was left-handed, he couldn't use any of the gloves.
Hey, I grew up using somebody else's glove for 10 years probably and put it on the wrong hand.
But before he left,
You
before
bought
he
me a
left,
glove, didn't you?
yeah, before he left Indiana, I bought him a left-handed glove.
Oh, good.
Paid all of $2 for it. A full day's wage.
But up to that point, I'd use somebody else's glove on my right hand.
Did you hear that? A full day's wage.
Yes, I heard it. I heard it.
That's what he,
That was pre-war.
How much did you give? What's the interest charge?
Yeah, paying back a full day's wage.
A good glove is still a full day's wages.
A full day's wage, okay.
There's your
Where are you?
$2. Now he's embarrassed.
What really happened when he went to Anderson, he borrowed $2 from Vern and got it all paid back, so I guess that was.
Hey, I used that glove to play ball with Vern. When I lived with him, yeah, on a company team.
She wasn't kidding when I left home. My mom packed my things the night I came home from the senior trip. Said, Vern will pick you up 6 o'clock in the morning, you're going to Anderson. I was out of high school 4 days, I wasn't 18 yet. And Vern loaned me $2, and everything I had was a cardboard box like this, and a pasteboard suitcase.
See,
It was
Vern's
about
my
18
twin
inches
brother.
long.
I sure am glad she did that.
Went, lived with him in the dormitory first, and they called it the barnatory because it was built like a barn. And I'm not kidding you, one fella could take a window and just pull it in like this, and it was supposed to go up and down. So, however cold it was outside, that's how cold it was in our room that whole year.
Who dished ice cream?
Oh, I did. Twin brother did. Didn't you work?
No, I never worked for the
He
dairy.
didn't work for them.
He ate it. They gave him cone checks.
Marguerite worked for them.
Yeah, I worked for them.
See, this is company called Eastside Jersey Dairy Company. It's just a dairy in Anderson, and they hire a lot of college students. So lots and lots of college students worked for the dairy. It was famous for their ice cream.
We used to get a double dip for a nickel. We used to that was our dates and our recreation. We'd go down and get a big ice cream cone.
I was still in high school one day, and I hitchhiked up to see them. So I stopped at the dairy, and Bert said, "Oh, you want some ice cream?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, yeah." That's the days when they gave you the whole malt cup, and then they poured the rest of it in after you got it down so far. Pretty soon he said, "Oh, you want some more?" "Yeah." So he fixed me up a sundae. And
See, he comes by it on
now, that's not the end of the story. I ate that Sunday standing there around. Nobody came to pick me up, so I was going to have to walk out to college, and he said, "Here's a big cone for you to eat on your way." And when I got out there, his sister-in-law said, "Hey, we've got a frozen malt here."
He was a teenager.
And I downed it. All in the space of an hour.
Well, you should tell about that old terraplane that we gave you for your honeymoon to use.
I got to take my coat off for that. Now I'm getting old.
We had an old terraplane. We had to park in the hill to get it running for him to get to school every day.
They called it the friendly terraplane because all the fenders waved at you. They let us borrow it for our honeymoon.
This was during the war, and you couldn't get tires, you know.
So we took out south of Anderson, went down through southern Illinois.
You started the story a little early, because we sat on our suitcases on the lawn for a long time while they were getting the tire fixed in the first place.
So it was about 11:30 at night when we took out. And on the trip, we had 7 flat tires. The best is yet to come. We got started home, and got to West Union, Illinois, and driving down the road, and the thing just stopped. The motor was running good, but the wheels wouldn't turn. Did you ever hear of anybody wearing out the clutch on their own? Well, I had a total of about $2 left in my pocket. And we got her a bus ticket and a train fare ticket. And she rode the bus from West Union up to Paris, Illinois, and caught the train home to Indianapolis. And I hitchhiked home for my honeymoon.
Oh, no.
Caught a bus and went out to Dad's and got the car and met them back in Indianapolis by the time they got off the train.
And then his boss took him back the next weekend or whatever and picked up the car.
So they were sitting without a car for about, somewhere 2 or 3 weeks before we ever got the thing fixed and back to them up in Lafayette.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't much of a car. I didn't have any money to get it fixed. So I didn't have time to work on it. So it
Wedding
suffered.
gift, huh?
It suffered.
We had it in almost as good a shape when we got it back as it was when we got it.
We
It was
sure
ready.
appreciated it though. It was sure.
Yeah, you did.
How else could we have gone?
Oh, my.
What
Those
was
were
your
the
first
days,
house?
wasn't
You lived in apartments when you were in college? What was your first house after you were married?
We had a little apartment in Anderson
Uh-huh.
where bus came and ate. And then we had a little one-room apartment in Lafayette while we was going to Purdue.
Well, we moved into 2.
We moved in.
Next year, we moved into 2 rooms
Yeah, I had 2 rooms the next year.
Really splurged, huh?
up in the world.
And then, but I was during the war, they were running 3 semesters, no vacations. And he went 6 straight semesters.
Sounds
And then he got his job with RCA in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and then we moved into a 3-room.
Yeah, we went.
And when were you in Fort Wayne? After you were in Lancaster? Came back?
Oh, a long time.
No, Baltimore.
You
We
said
went from
Baltimore,
Lancaster to.
Yeah.
Well, where'd Doug come in? Here, we've missed Doug somewhere.
Oh, he was
Lafayette.
part of it when we lived in that in the 2-room
Oh, that's
apartment.
okay.
In
That's where I
Lafayette.
school.
You worked for K Park Farnsworth for a while, and
I was
Fort
in
Wayne.
Fort Wayne.
was that right after you got out of school, or?
No.
No,
Okay.
Oh,
RCA was.
All right.
We went from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, to Baltimore, Maryland, to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to Bloomfield, New Jersey, to Elmira, New York, to Camarillo, California, and then Calabasas, and Torrance.
They used to think I'd moved around while I was in the service.
Yeah. Everybody always asked me if you were in the service. I said, no, we just jumped around.
Traveling engineer.
Traveling engineer.
Where'd you live the longest?
Torrance.
Probably in Torrance.
Well, yeah, we lived in Elmira,
10 years.
yeah, and Torrance was about 16.
So,
This is it.
So we've had a lot of
This
friends
is
all
it.
around the country. And when we retired in 1980, I drove by the church and blew the horn. Alice came out.
Oh, I did.
Oh, yeah, you went to work that day?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You kept teasing me, saying that you were going to do that.
Yeah, but you went to work the day we left.
We did.
That was the story I heard.
Yeah, I drove up and blew
Did
the
you
horn.
hear that, Nancy?
Yeah. So we got in the motor home and took off. And traveled all around the country and visited places and churches where we used to live. So, had a
All
great
were
time.
relatives back east,
Yeah,
and
had a great time.
the friends we had in Baltimore,
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New England.
My
All
mother
around the
didn't think
country.
you were ever gonna come home, remember?
Yeah.
My mother was just a 4-month before she died.
Yeah.
I hadn't been,
Well, it was only 7 months.
but I hadn't been home a day or so, and the telephone rings, and see Joe says, "Can you come back to work?" I said, "How'd you know I was home?" He said, "I have ways of finding out."